Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, Penguins fans. Welcome to the Penguins Collective Podcast. My name is Louie.
My name is Josh.
Oh, and we're two brothers who love to talk about hockey.
Especially the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, we got so much to talk about. Jarry leading the NHL in shutouts. The Pittsburgh Penguins defeating the Winnipeg Jets 3-0. Is Gensel gone, Josh? Are we talking about that today? We got so much to talk about today. Let's get right into it. Welcome. Oh, that was not smart. Hold on. Welcome. Oh, that was rough. Oh my gosh. That joke was too soon. I was about to say I look like Noel Jarry, but that was a little too soon. A little too soon. Too soon there with that joke. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, X, or you're listening at a later date on Spotify. I was about to say Instagram, but no. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're there. Josh, this was a fun break. We're back.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
It feels like the first recording of the season.
It does.
We got to shake off the rust, get after it, The Pens looked better than anticipated. I was expecting them to come out dry, slow, old, and they look good. First period, it was obviously feeling things out. And the second period popped off. Just pop. You put it out there. They were buzzing.
They were. They were
second period
flying. This game. I think they knew what was at stake, right? They knew that this game had to be a nail in the coffin for the conversation of they're done for the season. I think they came out. They knew exactly what they needed to do. Jarry played great, and we had a new little sprinkle of newness on our roster with the signing of Jesse Puljujarvi.
Crushed it.
Nailed
it.
I had to take a second before I said the name because I want to do it justice. But it's Jesse Puljujarvi. Yeah. We signed him to a professional tryout in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton Penguins, and he was there for about a month, maybe a couple weeks.
I was going to say it's about 2 months.
2 months? I thought it was a little over just a month. But we signed him to a 2-year deal worth $800,000 annual. So pretty cheap. A steal. And if he looks anything like he did tonight, it's more than a steal. It's a freebie. I'd pay that out of pocket because he showed little glimpses of being pretty good today, Josh.
Well, I mean, I was excited about him coming up just because I was watching Wilkes-Barre. He was sharp down there. And honestly, and he was playing with Nylander and Pullian and those guys that are essentially NHL players. So it's not like he was playing with some bottom line guys. He was consistently being on that top line and producing. I think he had like 18 points in like 20 something games. So he was putting in work down there. And if there's any potential of what he was in Carolina before, the injuries, I mean, we may have something. And I'm not saying that like it's going to be, the thing that's going to put us over the edge, but I mean, that's a solid bottom six guy then. Like a really good bottom six guy. And that's what we've been looking for. And hopefully he pans out. I mean, it was his first game, feeling out the line. He was third line with Raquel and not Carter, Eller.
Yeah.
Lars Eller. So I feel like that's a good pairing, so hopefully that pans out and they can get accustomed to each other and start producing.
Yeah.
If that bottom six starts rolling, we know what that top six can do. So just got to keep it going from here.
Yeah, I mean the bottom looked good. Obviously, I had the big Jeff Carter coming in with the goal tonight, power play goal. But I would say there was a lot of things that happened in this game. Obviously, our bottom six playing really well, Jarry playing really well, but the big thing that led to us getting a 3-0 lead in this game is the sacrifice of Noel Achari. I mean, it was first of all, what was his name? Dylan on the Winnipeg Jets literally headhunted him and knocked him out. It was a bad hit, and I felt so bad because a scrum happened immediately after the hit.
Yeah, no one was there to help Noel,
and he was stumbling. Okay. Rest in peace to Apollo Creed, who just recently passed away. He looked like Carl Weathers. He looked like he just got knocked out by Rocky a couple times. He was struggling to get up a little bit. And I felt because he was so, it's a concussion because he was staring so intently trying to get up.
Yeah.
Blood dripping from his nose, both nostrils. Like this was... He got hit so hard that his helmet came unbuckled. Like that, and I'm not trying to make fun of him. Please hear me.
It was pretty comical the way the
helmet it literally looked like a cartoon. Like, it's like Roadrunner, where like they're running off a bridge and they stop in midair and they're like, oh, and they fall. He got hit so hard the helmet stayed where it was and he got moved. It was wild. But obviously, it's serious, Josh. Stop laughing at a guy who got concussed. That's dangerous hit, Josh.
I know, but you know how ridiculous this is going to be in about an hour? Mike Sullivan's going to come out and say, yeah, Noel Achari
upper body
injury. We'll evaluate him.
No. I guarantee you, I'd put money on this, that they go, any news on Noel Achari, and he'll say, I don't know, the doctors have to... I don't know. We have to see him yet. We have to see him. It's not going to be a diagnosis.
It's one of the two. Because he was already ruled out for the game. So I wouldn't be surprised by the time they talk to Sullivan, he's going to say,
he went up to UPMC.
He's being evaluated for an upper body injury.
Yeah. We're like, just say concussion. Dude couldn't get up. It's a concussion. We got it. But no, it was, big hit. Really big hit. I was shocked when I was watching it just because of the magnitude of the hit, and I'm not trying to oversell it. I think I'm actually underselling the hit. That's a 5-game suspension at least for Dylan. Just because he's, if you're listening to the audio version, Noel Achari was coming up the boards with the puck into the zone, and Dylan just shoulder, elbow, going towards his head, did not adjust accordingly. Like if you see a guy who's low, you go, okay, let me go down, or, let me change my body so I'm not killing him. And Dylan committed to the hit and committed murder and absolutely murdered Noel Achari. I hope he's okay. I believe he'll be okay. That's why we could joke about this, because I know he will be fine. But that led to first of all, a match penalty, which I don't like the name of that call. Because
isn't that a game misconduct?
Why are we calling it a match penalty?
It's
not like it's soccer. I don't like it. When they're like, that's a match penalty, I was like, that's dumb. Can't we just call him, he's ejected, game misconduct? Like, I don't get why it would be called a match penalty. We don't call it a hockey match, so I don't get why match penalty. Anyway, that's a whole thing.
No,
we could talk.
But just real quick, like when you got in a couple fights in the same game, like wasn't it a game misconduct?
Correct.
That's what it was. So why not use the same terminology?
I don't know, Josh. They really like the match penalty, and I think they really want to push the match penalty. Because when I was on Twitter, or I'm sorry, X, that's all that they were saying is, oh, that's a match penalty. That's a match penalty. Where's the match penalty come from? What does that mean? And then obviously when the ref announced number whatever is getting assessed a match penalty. First of all, don't like either of those words, but it's fine. Just call it a game misconduct and get him out of there. And then we had a 5-minute penalty, a 5-minute power play. And at first, my first thoughts that were run through my mind is like, are we about to blow this? Because I was looking,
we were going to.
Oh, yeah. We didn't score until under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So 5-minute power play. We could not put the puck in the net until a wacky puck bounce where it eventually found its stick, and for Rust to
Jeff Carter.
Jeff Carter was first, then it was Rust. Sorry.
Yep.
And then Jeff Carter gets one. Okay, great. That's awesome. The crowd goes nuts. We get a power play goal finally, and it's big Jeff Carter. Fast forward 30 seconds, a minute. I think it's a minute, actually. There was 12 seconds left in the power play. And Sidney Crosby passes, shoots it, passes it to Gensel. Gensel puts it past crease, and it goes to Rust into the net. And we get our third goal in that power play. So that was basically it. That was the second period. And then third period was just riding that out until
playing defense with Jarry the entire time.
Yep.
Crosby playing goaltender at one point.
Crosby playing goaltender. Mike Sullivan saving Tristan Jarry's shutout with an offsides a challenge, which whenever that usually happens, the Penguins are 4-6 in the season with challenges.
Really?
So
I thought we were still perfect.
No, I think we had I think it was that one game. I remember the one we didn't get when it was like an obvious offsides, and they were like, no, still same goal. And I remember Mike Sullivan was like, what the heck are we doing here? So it's not for lack of trying. I think it was just an unfortunate call. But 4-6, that's what Josh gets off said today. And and then pretty much that was the end of the game. So pretty good game. I would say a solid 60-minute effort from the boys today. I like to see a little more I guess not speed, but a little more up and at 'em, as we're kind of hitting down the stretch.
I feel like it was there. I wouldn't count the first period just because, we had 9 days off. I just did the quick math. 9 days off.
Quick math.
So of course they're going to be a little bit slow. And, everyone but Crosby, had an actual skating event. I mean, only Crosby had an actual game test when he was doing the All-Star game. Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, I don't think any of them actually put in that type of work. Maybe I'm wrong.
True.
Wrong,
no. I think you're right.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that they came out a little bit slower, but I also won't be surprised if the next game they come out better in the first period, because now they know. Now they got their skates underneath them. They're ready to go. They understand what's at stake. It's wild, because coming into the season, we were super excited. And then like when things started going screwy, we're like, okay, like let's wait until January. January will be the real gauge.
The real.
But I
And
think
then
Jarry
didn't. I mean, sorry, January didn't look good. Not Jarry didn't look good. January
exactly.
didn't
January
look good.
didn't look good. But I think the locker room was like, it's the real benchmark is the All-Star break.
Yeah. So we're like, oh, okay. We're
Yeah.
just moving the goalposts here.
Yeah.
All-Star break. We'll let you know.
We are.
We
But
are.
I think
We're moving the goalposts.
I think the locker room 100% was like, if we can just be within a few points at the All-Star game, we'll be all right.
Feel good about ourselves.
We'll be all right. Because I truly do believe that if Dubas and Sullivan thought we were out of it over this 9-day break, they would have made a move. They would have made a move.
Well, I think with the Pulivari, I think that was just like a close your eyes, shoot your shot at the dartboard. If that helps us go over the little benchmark, they would have been like, all right, great. We don't have to make any moves. That's cheap. Let's go for something. But
yeah, because I mean, we still have a month before the trade deadline.
Yeah, and NES coming in the chat saying
in the chat, yeah, the real benchmark.
Hey, we're actually moving the goalposts one more time. The real benchmark is the trade deadline, and I think it actually will be, because if we lose a certain someone at the trade deadline, yeah, that's a real test for the Penguins to see if we can get to the playoffs. But today, before, go ahead.
Oh. No, I was just going to say, but today was also like a big day for two guys on the team that have been like hot button conversations. Today was 800th game for Mike Sullivan as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Jake Gensel's 500th NHL game. Two guys that, one, everyone's been calling for his job. And two,
not us.
And number two, everyone calling for him to be traded. Maybe us.
We're the ones who started. I'm pretty sure we're the ones who started it. We saw the initial report that there weren't any contract negotiations way back like 2 months ago. And we were like, he's gone. He's getting traded. No one else was saying that. Then Spit and Chiclet said something, and everyone started freaking out. Hey, this podcast was first with the trade Jake Gensel train. All right.
Yeah.
Now, our official stance on it is that we do not want Jake Gensel to be traded, but we'll get into that in a second. Currently, our standings, the Metropolitan, we're 5th.
Yeah.
Right now. Now, I don't know if that includes tonight's game or not.
Rangers. Carolina,
Rangers,
Flyers,
Hurricanes,
Islanders,
us,
and I believe before tonight's game, we were tied with Washington and the Devils.
New Jersey.
Correct. Are we still tied with them?
Well, Josh, if we could do a quick Google search, or chat, if they could do a quick Google search, we won, which brings us to 53 points. Hopefully, the Devils and the Capitals lost, because if they'd lost,
I think they played yesterday. I think they both played yesterday.
All right, Josh, just kill airtime while I try to find this.
All right, yeah. While you find that, the one stat that they threw up, just
Capitals lost today.
Okay, so they stay at 51.
Wait, hold on.
Capitals just play yesterday? Already a back.
No, because yesterday was yesterday was the.
No, there were games yesterday.
Yeah, just 2. Avalanche, Rangers. Rangers won in overtime. Doesn't help us.
Yeah.
Islanders won. Not helping us.
That's the other team.
Yeah, but you know what? That's fine, because we weren't even worried about the Devils. The Devils are currently winning against the Colorado Avalanche 4-3. Period 3 with 1 minute left to go in the game. So that's a W for the Devils. So we're going to be tied with the Devils at 53 points. Washington stays at 51. And did the Blue Jackets win? They don't play. They don't play
Are they that close?
No, Blue Jackets are at 42 points.
Oh, okay. I'm not concerned.
I'm not concerned either, but I would like to see them lose nonetheless.
Because here's the thing. So I would put us in the same ballpark as the Devils and the Islanders. Okay.
Sure.
All right. And then obviously the tier above is the Rangers and the Hurricanes. And yes,
Yeah.
I am omitting the Philadelphia Flyers because I don't see them as a serious threat now with Hart being out. So with Hart being out, yeah, with everything that's going on, the Devils lost 2 important guys because of it. So that can mess up their stuff too. But goaltending, everyone knows about goaltending being, the heart of everyone's team. And I don't think the Flyers have the depth that, we have. So I'm going to say they're below us. So we really just need to edge out the Islanders and the Devils just to get that third spot. Because the one thing that I was looking at over the All-Star break is that the wild card, we're actually further away in points in the wild card than we are third in the Metropolitan. Because I think we're only like coming into to like out of the All-Star break. I think we're like 4 or 5 points out of the third spot in the Metropolitan, but we're like 7 or 8 points out of just the second spot in the wild card. So I think the real play is not wild card, but third spot in the Metropolitan. We just got to beat out the Flyers and the Islanders. And why can't we do that? I mean, the Devils are always hurt. They're missing 2 guys because of sexual assault claims. I mean, who do the Islanders have? Bo Horvat? I'm not concerned. And then it's us. Then it's the Flyers. I wasn't concerned about the Flyers. They were outperforming their expectations anyway. So NES, Toronto and Wings have 58, and they're the 2 spots of the wild card. 58. We now have 53.
So are you saying that if we are playing well, okay, if we continue this little streak, are we going to end 4th in the Metropolitan?
No, third
in the Metropolitan to clinch a playoff?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the goal. I think like you have to look at the points and say, what's the path of least resistance? It's not, let's try to get a wild card over the other, other division teams. Just let them fight it out. We'll fight out for the third of the Metropolitan.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough road. I think that's the best way to describe that. I think
not denying that. I'm just saying.
Well, I know, but for those of you who I'm speaking on the other half of this coin, because you're saying, well, it's a numbers game because look at the numbers. We're not that far off. We just got to keep on producing, right? Yeah. And for me, I'm like, yeah, everyone else is going to also want to keep on producing. So I'm a little more pessimistic in this situation. I'm not saying we're going to miss the playoffs. I still think we're going to make the playoffs. I just think that it's going to be more of a, at the end of the, last minute 3 buzzer beater shot, and then all of a sudden we're in the playoffs. I think we'll be hoping for a lot of teams to be losing to get it. That's where I think we're going. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we start winning uncontrollably. Kind of like the Islanders when they fired their head coach. Not saying we're going to fire our head coach. Just saying the Islanders fired their head coach and then won 13 wins in a row. Okay? We could go on as of right now, the way that team just played this tonight against a very good Winnipeg Jets team, we could go on a 13-game winning streak. And if we do that, Why not go for third? Why not go for second or first in the Metropolitan?
Yeah.
We by the end of the season, we could be first, theoretically. But once again, it's a situation that's situational. But Josh, that sounds all good and dandy. That sounds fantastic. That sounds like a great plan. If Jake Gensel's still on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So let's switch into something a little cozy. Let's get warm by the fire and swap horror stories of what the Penguins look like if we trade Jake Gensel. There has been rumors. There has been talks. There's been things that have been thrown out on X and thrown out all over the place that the contract negotiations originally weren't happening. We all freaked out. We were the ones who started the trade Jake Gensel train. All of a sudden, during an episode with Josh Getzoff and Kyle Dubas said, "Hey, we're working something out. Don't worry." That turns out to be a total poop fest because there was a report that came out that said, all those rumors and all those things that were said, false. Still no contract negotiations. Then, when asked, Jake Gensel confirmed this, saying, yeah, at least from what I know, there hasn't been any negotiations. I'm just worried about playing hockey. I love Pittsburgh, and I want to be here. Then there was a report that came out a day after that comment. He could be asking for $10 million a year. Something that the Pittsburgh Penguins currently does not have.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of rocky conversation around this between me and Josh. He will send me a quote. I will send him an explanation on why that's bogus. I will send a quote, and Josh will send me a response on why that is bogus. There is a lot of hot takes going on around these parts about where Jake Gensel is going to be at the end of March. Will he be a Pittsburgh Penguin? Josh, let's talk about it.
More? Because we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this for
Josh,
a good month and a half.
Josh, we started this train. We got to keep feeding the fire. Keep feeding that furnace.
Okay. Well, I mean, you pretty much covered everything. There was that report that Jake Gensel did receive and reject a 6-year, $8.5 million per year contract.
Say that one more time for the people in the back of the car, maybe listening to this podcast. Say that one more time.
Jake Gensel reportedly received and rejected a 6-year, $8.5 million
6-year
contract proposal.
$8.5 million.
8.5. Now wait,
for a 6-year.
Do you have a calculator? How do I do a calculator?
Josh, it's called a phone. Let me pull it up.
Can you do 8.5 times 6?
Yeah, Josh. That's $51 million.
Okay.
For 6 years. But guess what? Jake Gensel says, nah.
I want more.
I need more.
Yeah.
Not only I need more, I don't want to be here for 6 years. I want to keep my options open. You know what this is probably happening? If this report came out and said that he rejected a 6-year deal for $8.5 a year, and now there's another report saying that he wants $10 million. It's not about length anymore. Is he asking for like a 3-year, $10 million?
I'd give him that. Because then you have everyone's contracts expiring at the same time. Raquel, Rust, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Gensel, Carlson. You have everyone expiring at the same time.
That's a nightmare.
I 1,000% would do that because everyone would be retiring at that point. Then
so you're saying offer Jake Gensel instead of a 6-year, 8.5.
Yeah.
No, because that's only going to be $30 million for him.
Doesn't matter. He can re-hit the market and then go after.
Yeah, but he knows if there was a time to get a bag, it'd be this contract negotiation, whether it's with the Penguins or not. Everyone knows that. So Brian comes in the chat, says 100% agree with Josh. Line it up with the Sids deal and then blow it up.
Yep,
so if we're going, but I understand that is a great idea. But if he's asking for 10 mil, he's probably asking for 10 mil for at least 6 years. He wants to ride out in the sunset with 60 mil rather than 51. So it looks like maybe you don't go higher than 10 for 3 years.
No, not on such a short deal.
So then he's not going to be here. So there's no way it works to have him on a 3-year deal. We have to see either sign him long term,
I don't know,
for a lower amount, or a short term with a higher amount. There's no in between.
Yeah. Well, we can't afford in between.
No. I mean, we can afford a shorter, higher amount. We can afford a 3-year 10.5,
Sure.
which would help us because that's, what is that? 45? No. What would that get him?
33.
What?
30.
No,
what are you saying? 3-year 10.5?
Hold on. What did I say? Yeah, I was about to say 10.5 times 3. Oh no, it's 31.5.
31.5. All right, whatever.
He's not going to want that either. So
you don't know that though, because the thing is, after 3 years, he's still going to be relatively young, and he can still get 10 million again.
He'll be 32 years old. He'll be 32 years old. I don't think he has, and will he even be playing well at that point?
I don't know. But that's why a lot of people want the long term, is so that they can guarantee that amount stretched over time, so that if their play does go down, they can still say, well, still making a lot of money.
But there's no way I think obviously we offered 8.5 for 6 years. He probably came back and said, I want 10 for 6.
Oh, 100%.
And then we were like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Because then no one's going to get paid.
Exactly.
So where's the happy medium? Do we just do 9? Do we just meet him in the middle and say, hey, what about 9 for 6 years? How much is that? 9 times 6. That's 54 mil. That's fine. Because he wants 60.
Yeah,
Is 6 mil make it or break it situation?
We're talking as fans that would pay for a fraction, a very small fraction of that contract. So, yeah, would I take 6 for 8.5? Yeah, I would. But we don't know Gensel. We don't know his contract.
We don't know his mortgage on his house.
We don't know all that stuff. He may be looking. Now, granted, anything that is offered, if you're using it properly, is generational wealth. I hate when people are like, no, go get the higher amount. Go get generational wealth. No, that is generational wealth. That is. Well, if you use it properly, that is generational wealth. If you screw it up, then that's on you. You can't blame the team for not giving you more, because then you would have just blown that too. So whatever.
So, all right. You're the GM.
It's going to be a lot of money.
You're the GM. You know what was rejected, supposedly, reported.
Yeah.
Okay? So you know we're looking to offer 6 years. Like, we're willing to go that long on a contract for Jake Gensel. You know he's interested in 10 mil a year. What would you come in as GM?
You hit it. You have to. Contract negotiations are exactly what they are, negotiations. Just because we offered 6, now if this is true, 6 at 8.5 doesn't mean that's his final offer. They're negotiations.
No, I know.
That's the term for a reason. So I think hopefully there are continued conversations. I'm having horrible PTSD throughout this entire thing because this is exactly what happened with AJ Brown with the Titans. The Titans offered a lowball offer to AJ Brown. AJ Brown's agent decided to play hardball and say, until you bring up your amount, we're not talking to you. And then the Titans said, well, until you give us your amount, we're not giving you any more contract offers. So guess who got traded? AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on here.
But guess who lost the Super Bowl?
Okay.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, but guess who hasn't been to a Super Bowl? Tennessee Titans. So it's not like anyone's won. But the thing is, like, the thing that I'm concerned about is the fact that there are multiple reports saying that there are no contracts offered. So then where did the 6 and 8.5 come from? That's my thing. Like, because the one that I sent you, right? It was like, it was the conversation with Gensel.
Yeah, from Bob Rose.
Let me find it. Yeah, Wes Crosby. So he said, in a conversation with Gensel, he said, from my end, there's been no talks of any sorts. And this is February 5th. This was yesterday. Oh, it was talking about it yesterday.
What?
So 2 days ago. 2 days ago, saying
David Pagnotta at the fourth period.
Okay, but he's talking about being that there still aren't any ongoing contract talks and those reports are inaccurate. Yes. Okay, yes, you are correct there. But then Wes Crosby goes even further with a conversation with Gensel saying, from my end, that's Gensel speaking, there's been no talks of any sorts. So then what is going on? And I think that's the biggest thing. And yes, we can talk about this for the next 30 minutes, but there's other things we want to get to. And this is probably going to be the topic of conversation every day until a contract is signed or a trade happens. And as we get closer to the trade deadline, if there are no contracts offered, we'll start drawing up some trade proposals, ideas. I don't want to do it now because I still hope that there will be a contract offered and accepted, and he will help us finish out the season and seasons from there. So that's it for me on it for today.
From what the reports that I saw, especially, I think with just the contract negotiations, if it was just a contract, he's staying a Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
But there's outside teams that are now interested in Jake Gensel. So as you said in our last episode, that everyone's available except for Sidney Crosby, right? You would say you would take a call on anyone but Sidney Crosby.
Absolutely.
Well, according to Chris Johnston, Jake Gensel and Jordan Eberle, we don't give a crap about him, could be a potential trade target for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
So it looks like
great in black and gold.
No. How crazy would that be? I don't think Edmonton Oilers fans would be like, that's not what we meant by but Jake Gensel obviously there's been his name floated to the Oilers, to other teams, the Vancouver Canucks. These teams have been calling and asking, if you're the GM, and I know you said you're done for the night with contract negotiations, obviously you're you're trying to find the best deal for the Penguins because that's your job as a GM. But then simultaneously, you're getting a phone call from all other 30 teams, 31 teams, asking about this guy. Does that change your negotiations going forward?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think you have to put it in there saying, hey, like, I have trade offers. Let's sit down. Let's talk contract. If we can't come to an agreement, then, the no movement clause comes in and say, what are the teams that you want to go to? And you just have a real conversation. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, yes, like, it's all business, but these are people, So, like, when I hear that other teams are interested in Jake, it's like, okay, well, I wouldn't trade him to Edmonton because those draft picks would be trash because they'd be late first round.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want to trade with them. But at the same time, if Jake says, oh, I'd love to play for Edmonton. Okay, well, like, let's try to get the most out of Edmonton. Don't tell Edmonton that he wants to play there, but just be like, okay, Edmonton, like, I'll entertain, conversation starts with Leon Draisaitl. Like, just something ridiculous, and you just go from there. But, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. It's so hard because there's so
There's
much
so
that
many
goes on.
elements.
Yeah, and so much behind the scenes that we are absolutely not privy to. And this is our real first season looking at Kyle Dubas and how he handles any of this stuff. And so far, it seems that he has been very close to the vest, patient. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear anything until the trade deadline and then a contract is signed and accepted like the day after. Like, we hear that no trade is going to happen for Jake, and then the next day he signs the contract. Or it could totally flip. And I know this is, not good podcast where you just say both sides, or the other side, we just trade him on the trade deadline. Because, again, like NES pointed out, the real benchmark is the trade deadline. So,
okay,
who knows?
So to get off of Jake Gensel for a second, as of right now, February 6th, 2024, are we buyers or sellers at the trade deadline?
I would like to be buyers.
Yeah, me too. This is also bad podcasting, Josh.
But I also honestly believe, I think we stay put. I don't think
you don't even make a move.
No, because who's out there that you can get that will make an impact that could get you over the hump without
Leon
jeopardizing
Draisaitl.
The future? No, like a realistic option. There isn't.
I'm kidding.
There isn't. And there's been reports of like, who was that? The guy who actually we played against tonight for Winnipeg, Sean.
You mean Scheifele?
No, the guy that they just traded from the Canadians to the Jets.
What?
Mollahan?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Go ahead. He was a trade option. I'm not saying specifically for the Penguins, but he was out there. He was an option. So, like, if the Penguins really wanted to be buyers, why weren't they, go in on him? And maybe they were, but I mean, a first round pick in 2024, it's pretty steep. But again, like, it all comes down to the pieces that are involved in every trade. And it just, honestly, I don't think we have the assets to make a trade. And I think we're going to be too close in the race to be sellers. So I think we stay put. I think I hopefully do everything we can to keep Jake, but we'll see. I know I've been on the record on this podcast as saying you trade him if he doesn't sign a contract. And I still stand by that. But as a fan, I want him to stay. I feel like it makes most sense for him to stay and to keep this going. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you're not going to sign a contract, we're going to get something for you, at the trade deadline so we can work on the team, because the team is not just one individual person.
That's right, Josh.
Except for the Penguins, it's Crosby.
It's not. I was gonna say. I was gonna do the miracle quote about it. It's not the name on the back; it's the name on the front. Get that through your head again.
Yeah, but it's a logo on the front.
Yeah, now it's a logo because except when we wear our diagonals, then there is a name on the front. Fair. But I'll transition to this moment. Mike Sullivan was asked about what he thought of the hit and how Noel Jarry is doing. Survey says
yes,
he's doing okay, but being evaluated right now will allow the league to go through their process like they always do. At the end of the day, our opinions don't really matter. Our major concern is Noel and his health, and he seems to be doing okay.
Hey, he didn't use upper body, so kudos.
He did. He just said he's being assessed right now.
Yeah.
So all right.
And then the name was Sean Monahan.
Yeah.
And this is the last thing on Jake. Okay.
Oh, okay. I tried to transition away from that, Jake, but go ahead. Yep.
I just wanted to finish the conversation on this. Yeah. Tonight was his 500th game.
Yep.
He was drafted in the 2013 draft, 3rd round.
By?
He has outscored everyone
Nathan McKinnon.
in that draft. Everyone in that draft, including Nathan McKinnon.
I'm well aware that he outperformed Nathan McKinnon. Which when people see that stat, they go, "Yeah, let's give Kyle a call. See if he's not going to pick up this phone about what's his face, Jake Guentzel." I think every team is calling Kyle Dubas right now, saying, "Hey, we see the reports.
Yeah,
is he up for sale?" And if he's not, I would disagree with Dubas. He has to be in conversation. I would love for him to re-sign, but if Kyle Dubas isn't picking up the phone every single time when someone asks
if he's saying no to trades right now, again, we don't know even if that's happening, but let's just say that hypothetically it is. That tells me they're closer in talks than what is being put out there.
Yeah, because
Kyle wouldn't start rejecting trades now if he hasn't even spoken with Jake.
That's true. Even though he would. Sorry, I'm very tired. He claimed he did talk. He said we are working on a number that works for both sides. And then Jake comes out yesterday saying, "No, as far as I'm concerned, there has been no talks," which is baloney, which means one of them is lying. Is it Dubas or is it Jake? And now, if one of them are lying,
Jake could be using certain terminology. On my end, I haven't talked to anyone.
I'm letting my agent do all that.
His agent could be doing
agent is literally staying up at night, swapping, conversations with Kyle Dubas before he goes to bed every night.
Yeah.
But
Jake Guentzel's like, I'm just here to play hockey. I don't get into contract negotiations.
That's why I pay my agent.
Yeah.
To get more money, so he gets paid.
Like 11%.
Yeah. He keeps on asking for 11 mil a year because he wants that 11%. And I'm telling him, hey, I only wanted 8.5. You keep on asking for more.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. This game was good. It was good to be back, Josh. Everything's rolling. Everything's flying. The Penguins start their new chapter for the rest of their season. Let's see if they can get into a playoff spot by the end of the month of February. So that way when trade deadline comes, we could stay put and go to the playoffs, and then everyone's happy, and no one will ever talk about trading Jake Gensel ever again. What do you think? Good time to end the episode?
I think so. Can we end it on this? Let's end it on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Ethan, coming in late to the chat, but go ahead.
Yesterday, the AHL Hall of Fame had an induction ceremony.
Yep.
There was a man inducted for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins by the name of Dennis Bonvie. If you don't know who Dennis Bonvie is, you need to pull up YouTube and start
look
watching
up
some old clips of Dennis Bonvie.
No. There's one video clip that you need to look up.
Yep.
It is the St. Patrick's Day Massacre for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Dude had his sweater off, no shirt underneath his pants.
Bare chest.
Just straight bare chest, bleeding from his knuckles and his face. And it was probably the most entertaining things I have ever seen. Dennis Bonvie. I would love to see a movie about Dennis Bonvie because there's movies like Goon. He is the Goon.
Yeah, but
I'll never forget. He was better. Like he actually played.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget. And Josh was there. Our dad was there. Our youth pastor was there. We went to this game in Wilkes-Barre. It was against the Hershey Bears. And me being me, and Josh can attest to this, I need to be there when the doors open so I could, 1, go to the store, 2, watch them warm up.
Yeah.
So we always have to go early. Sorry, the balloons. Ignore the balloons. So I have to be there for the warm up. So we get our seat. We're eating popcorn or whatever, the soda we get. And all of a sudden, we see Dennis Bonvie on the red line, the center ice, just standing there while everyone else is doing their circling. And you could tell he's chirping the whole time. He is just yelling at the Hershey Bears. And finally, one of the guys stopped. Josh, do you remember this?
I don't remember it exactly, no, but
so Dennis Bonvie is at the center ice and he's chirping. And finally, a bunch of guys from Hershey Bears stopped to kind of say, like, hey, knock it off. All of a sudden, in warmups, he drops the gloves and starts going. Do you remember this?
No.
And then the whole teams come together. The refs had to come out of the locker room. This is warmups, guys. They break up. And then obviously they're like, Dennis, you got to go in the locker room or something. Like, you can't be out here. So he sends the 2 guys back. And then warm-ups continue. And then the normal games happens. But I'll never forget. I was either the Hershey Bears or the Binghamton Senators at the time.
Oh.
So it was definitely probably one of the greatest memories I have. Besides Andy Chiodo going out to the blue line, which is the reason why I fell in love with hockey. That's a whole other story.
Nice.
Dennis Bonvie at center ice, chirping the other team, starting a fight in warmups will always be a Hall of Fame trait. So I'm so happy he got inducted into the American Hockey League Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's sick.
Do you have a story?
No, I don't have a specific story for Dennis. It's crazy. Like it's unreal. It's hard to wrap my mind around the fact that like a player that we watched growing up is going into the Hall of Fame. Like is TK in the Hall of Fame?
No, but
he should be. Maybe there's like a certain amount of time that you have to be out of the league.
Yeah, he retired.
He's only a few years out.
No, I think it's like 5 now. I think he retired in like 16, 17.
Was it pre-COVID? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was
pre-COVID.
It
was pre-COVID.
Because remember, we went to his. I think we went to his last game.
His last game, yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like that's what's crazy is that like I get it. Like the NHL, they're the superstars. They're the ones that deserve all the attention. But like for towns that don't have the NHL team, but have the AHL team, they're
Those
treated
guys
like
were
the
everything.
NHL. Yeah, these
Those
guys are
guys were
treated like the
everything.
NHL superstars. So Dennis Bonvie was there with guys like Ryan Malone and Ryan Whitney and the guy
Chris
on
Letang.
Chicklets,
Paul Bissonnette.
Paul Bissonnette, like those type of guys. Colby Armstrong, that era.
Andy Chiodo.
Marc-Andre
Fleury.
Yeah.
You got you got
who else was down there at that time? There were so many good guys.
It was definitely Michel Ouellet.
Oh, Michel Ouellet.
Yeah. Remember that guy?
And then you had Tom Kostopoulos.
Tom Kostopoulos.
Who's like the captain forever.
Leach, I think at some time there was there.
Yeah.
So
Endicott. Shane Endicott.
Oh, yeah. Dude, these names. Probably the best hockey. Now, granted, if I watch back, I'm like, that was probably the greatest hockey. But to us in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania, watching these guys play hockey, couldn't ask for a better. First of all, stadium was packed. The whiteouts I've never been in an atmosphere like the whiteouts in Wilkes-Barre. Listen, I've been to the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's great. Don't get me wrong. But there is nothing better than being 12 years old in white, waving a towel.
An extra large. 12 wearing an extra large.
That's right. Which I was probably the same size that I am now. So the shirt fit perfect. So the just that atmosphere of every single seat sold out. Oh,
and
I would pay.
Everyone stood.
And standing. No one
the
sat
entire
down.
Time. Yeah.
No one sat down. It was electric. And not only that, the whole organization was phenomenal. Down to the coaching, down to Mike Yeo, and
what's his name? The
Michel Therrien.
No, the guy from in the upper management. The guy from Miracle.
Oh, Greg Patrick. He was a GM, and just all of it, and then down to the voice of Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
Oh, Tom Grace.
You guys grew up with oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Mike Lang, thank you. We grew up with Tom Grace.
Yeah.
And honestly,
same energy.
Really you could not tell the difference between Mike Lang and Tom Grace. And I know that may seem blasphemous to some people, but man, Tom Grace. One of my core memories as a kid is if you're from Wilkes-Barre, if you've been to a game, you understand this. When after the game, you walk into the gravel parking lot because they still haven't finished.
Yeah, in the back lot. Yeah.
In the back. No. It was gravel. Like after.
No, if you weren't VIP, you were gravel. If you weren't VIP,
it was gravel. Yeah. And you would walk on the gravel parking lot and you would get in the car and you would wait in 5 lines. 5 lines. To get out of this parking. It's not like Pittsburgh where you just hop on the main street and you're gone. No. You have to go on the snake trail behind the whole parking lot. So everyone has to funnel in. And I'll remember this. You get in the car, and if it's a cold night, you let it warm up. And the first thing you do is turn on Tom Grace.
Post game with Tom Grace. Absolutely.
And he relives every goal, and it is beautiful, and it's amazing. And the way he describes each goal as if we didn't watch it 20-30 minutes prior, he makes it so exciting. And I know this isn't a Tom Grace fanboy episode, but it should be. One of those reasons why it was so amazing is because it had things like the Dennis Bonvie fights that happened constantly through Tom Grace. I will say Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins had a golden era, and sadly they have fallen away from that golden era. But man, Dennis Bonvie was a part of
It
it,
was
and it
a
was
lot
phenomenal.
a lot of it also had to do with that was when they just got there. So like 99 was when they just got like they opened and
Yeah,
for the
but
next like
early
6 years. But no,
2000s.
but that's what I mean. Probably for like the next 6 years, 6 to 10 years was when it was just like, yeah, like everyone was there. And now it's just like unfortunately like it's just not. And I think and I don't want to put the blame on Pittsburgh, but like not paying attention to the farm
No,
system for
you're
so many
right.
years could have impacted that. And that's I know you're not around here as much anymore, but the guys who are diehard, the locals, are excited about Dubas because of the farm system history that he has. So
Well, I
we'll
mean, I
see.
can't. I wish it goes back to it. I wish it does. There was a time where that was the hop in place. Now we did have an arena football team at the time that was
Mm.
during the summer. You'd be at the arena all year long. during the summer, you'd be there for the Pioneers, and then you would be there for the Penguins, and it was
AFL
probably
too.
the great AFL. Remember when the AFL was so lucrative? They had a farm system. Unreal.
Early 2000s are
Early 2000.
completely
What a
different.
wild time. What a wild time. What a cowboy crazy time that was. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
Real.
Their AFL is back, by the way. They're coming back
Yep.
this year. They're ready to
Not
go.
the
So,
Scranton, but yeah.
I would love for them to come back. That would be electric.
No shot.
Anyway, we need to end this podcast because I'm tired. You're tired. All right, guys. Thank you so much, seriously, for listening to that whole rant. Oh, but before I go into that, congratulations, Dennis Bonvie. You
Yes.
you guys get, you deserve it. A bunch of those guys in the AHL that made our childhood so much better. You guys deserve it. I mean, Andy Kyoto should be into the Hockey Hall of Fame, but I know that's probably not going to happen. So, but our goal for this podcast is to get Andy Kyoto on this podcast.
We should reach out to
See?
Dennis. We should reach out to Dennis.
Dude,
You
we
know
should reach
what?
out to Tom Grace.
Let's do it.
I would pay Tom Grace to do like our intro.
That'd be
Be
sweet.
sick. That would be so sick. And only like the OGs go, is that Tom Grace? I'm like, yes, it is. All right.
The OGs
All right,
from NEPA.
Yeah. The NEPA, even though they're saying it's NEPA now.
NEPA. I know. I don't like it.
It's always been NEPA. It's been NEPA.
Too much change.
Anyway,
I'm out of here.
Too much change. We gotta look. We're getting late. It's the weird energy that comes from late nights doing these episodes. But guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode on X, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can find this audio podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast. We have a live chat during the game, and we have chats during off days. We have a Discord. It's the Penguins Collective on Discord, and we have a great time. We have grown so much in that Discord. We started off with one guy like a year ago. Now we have like 8 people in there, and then there's a new person every single time I go on. So
yeah,
it's awesome. Everyone's doing an awesome job on there. Ethan and Angry Boot have reformatted that whole entire Discord. It's awesome. Go on there, have fun. I listen to the lo-fi thing.
Yeah,
because
we
love lo-fi here at TPC. So
you love lo-fi.
Lo-fi is pretty good, dude. I like it. So it's awesome. It's a really cool thing. Go on Discord. Josh, am I missing anything? No ads tonight because it was a good day.
Yeah, I think we got it.
All right, sweet. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next game, which is Friday, which is against the Minnesota Wild. And I'm pretty sure, are we home for that?
Yeah. No.
No, I think we are. I think we are. When we go home, when we go there. No, we're not. You're right. Good call.
We are. Then
It
we're
is
away at Winnipeg on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah. The Penguins are playing the Minnesota Wild Friday, February 9th, 8 o'clock start. It's going to be a late one. Marc-Andre Fleury better start because the last time we played them, he didn't, and I was upset. So we'll stay tuned on that. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you on Friday. Josh, as always.
Let's go Pens.